Hello, my name is Camden, and this is Echo Ranch Bible Camp. I grew up in the church ever since I could remember. My parents would go occasionally. I've always kind of learned the Bible, and I always knew it up in my head, never really knew it in my heart. And I've always grown up like that. When I was about 12 or so, that's when things really started getting real for me. For some reason, I just kind of had this snap inside, and I just had a passion for theology and learning more about God with a bunch of unrelated stuff happening in my life. So at that point on, things just kind of got better. I've grown stronger in my faith, and I've really enjoyed kind of coming to know God and learning who He is through His Word. I found out about Echo Ranch through one of my friends. We were talking about it, and I originally wasn't planning on coming up here at all. Instead, I was going to be a counselor down at another camp where I'm from in Colorado. Due to COVID, that sadly canceled, so I decided to maybe just try to get a job or work at the camp regardless as flavor. But I had this wonderful opportunity presented to me to come up and counsel. And I love hanging out with kids. I love telling them about Jesus, so I thought this was a perfect opportunity. But little did I know, God would be teaching me all throughout this season of trying time. It's been a great time, and I've really learned to trust God and His sovereignty. That's the big thing, because no matter what, if you're one of His children, He has a plan for you. He'll lead you and guide you through life, and even though it may not be wherever you'd expect it. I didn't expect to be sitting up here in beautiful Alaska ministering to a bunch of kids and to wonderful people. So really, I've learned a lot of trusting God and His sovereignty and just being able to have faith that He has a plan and that He knows better than I do.
Hi, my name's Kai, and I'm a volunteer at Echo Ranch. I grew up in a non-Christian home, but always kind of wondered if there was something more to the world. I started coming to Echo Ranch when I was 7 years old, and never really paid attention in chapel, but mostly just came here for the games and to hang out with friends. Around 13 years old, I started to pay attention in chapel, and that summer I was saved by God and have just been seeking Him ever since. And when I was 18, I started volunteering as a wrangler, and now here I am. This summer with COVID, camp has been changed quite a bit. God's recently been teaching me that even though with everything that's going on with COVID and even some personal stuff, that no matter what, He's sovereign and He's always gonna have just a plan for what is gonna happen next, and that we all just need to trust in Him, even in the moments where we're being fed these lies by just the devil and the enemy, that that God has the truth, and we just need to rely on that.
Hi, I'm Emily. I grew up in kind of a Christian home. My mom grew up Catholic, so I had a bunch of the Bible stories and some of the knowledge, but my parents didn't really both start going to church until I was 10 or 11, and I really wasn't super interested in Christianity until then. I ended up getting super depressed, but that's another story. And when I was about 14, I came out here and got saved. So that's kind of what got me to be out here as a counselor, because it's been really important in my salvation and my faith in Jesus. So yeah, now we're going to talk about COVID. This past year was my freshman year in college, and everything was going great. It was all going according to plan. And then March happened. And within 2 weeks, I broke up with my boyfriend, got evicted, and lost my job. So God kind of really showed me that my plans are not His plans, right? And He's got the good plans. When I try to take control of my life, it's like putting a toddler behind the wheel of a car and expecting them to stay in the lines. Whereas God's the best race car driver ever, and He may go fast and make me want to white knuckle sometimes, but ultimately I know that I'm safe, right? So yeah, I fully wasn't expecting camp to happen this summer because that was one of my plans. But then it ended up also being one of God's plans, so that's cool. And being out here has been really nice because it's just showed me how much peace is possible even in these trying times. I look at the people around me and I see so much joy and peace exuding from them, even in the midst of current events with racism and COVID and all that stuff, and we're still able to be happy and hopeful because You have an awesome God.